Okay, so in this video, I want to show you guys the assembly process for the DIY incubator kit known as the TerryBator. I'm going to show you exactly what you guys will receive when you receive your kit and some of the stuff that you're going to need to assemble your kit. You can see here on the table, we've got everything laid out. We've got the front and the back pieces, and everything has been pre-cut and fit. So all you guys basically have to do is put it together kind of like a simple puzzle. I did my best to make sure that there was basically only one way that this thing will go together. All the parts will only fit in one location, so you don't have to worry about messing that up. So you get the back and the front plate, which is, here's the back of the incubator. I don't know how well you can see that. It's already got the lower cutout for the air chamber, and then it's got the two cutouts for the fan. It also has a channel that you can slide your housing of the heat chamber into, so you don't have to worry about lining anything up. For the top and bottom pieces, bottom is very simple. It's got rabbet cuts on the edges for the sides, and same with the top piece. The top piece also has your vent holes cut out, and also the holes for your heating elements or your light bulb sockets. You're also going to receive trim wood. These 4 shorter pieces will go on top of the egg turner rails inside the incubator, and these 4 longer pieces will go around the outside edge of the door and also on the front face of the cabinet where the door closes up to, so you've got something to attach your latch hardware to. You're also going to receive the heat chamber face plate and the bottom, and we did cut all the 45s on the bottom of that, so you don't have to worry about that. And then we've got 4 rails. These are your egg turner rails that go inside the box. This is your air channel, your forced air channel on the back. All the pieces needed to put that together. And then the 2 side pieces, which already has the grooves cut in them for your egg turner rails and also for the bottom of the heat chamber. We're also including the plexiglass. This is acrylic plexiglass, and this is for your window on the door, and this is cut to size to fit the opening on the door. And you'll also receive the 2 heating element sockets, which are basically light bulb sockets. Some of the stuff that you're going to need to assemble this, it's really simple, guys. You're going to need a tube of PL300, which is a foam board adhesive. And I'm going to leave links to all this stuff that you can buy it. Most of it's available at Home Depot. Some of it you can get it on Amazon. You'll also need a small tube of acrylic silicone or caulk. Either one. That's just to put your plexiglass into the door. It also helps to have a roll of masking tape. That way when you're assembling it, you can kind of tape things down until the glue sets up. So what we're going to do, we're going to start out with our side pieces and our back. Actually, I'm just going to start with the side pieces right off top. Let me get some of this stuff out of the way so we can have some room here. So on the side pieces, you're going to need your 4 turner rails, and these are the 18-inch long ones. And the other ones for the back are a little bit deeper, so you don't have to worry about that. So on the side pieces, again, you can see where the grooves have already been dado cut into the foam. So basically all we're going to do is take just a little bit of glue. You don't need a whole lot of this foam board adhesive. We're just going to run a bead inside that channel. And this stuff looks like it might be a little old. There we go, that's getting a little bit better. I'm actually assembling this one for a friend, But we'll go ahead and we'll fill all 4 of those channels with a bead of the foam board adhesive. And like I say, you don't need a whole lot. Just a quick line of foam glue, and those parts will stay in there no problem. And basically just line it up with the front and press your part in that slot. Make sure that it is lined up on the front and the back. It should fit perfectly into the slot. You shouldn't have to worry about trimming anything up. One other piece too that you can do at this time. This is the bottom of the heat chamber floor, and that just slides into this smaller groove up at the top of the box. You can do this now, or you can do this after you've assembled the cabinet. It doesn't matter. I'm going to go ahead and do it now just for video's sake. And you'll find that once you're gluing this stuff together, it holds really well. I mean, if you press the pieces in, they don't want to pull out or slide out on you. That's why I say you really don't need to screw this one together. On the other DIY box on the channel, we actually screwed everything together, but it's really not necessary in this. The way we've got everything set up with these channels, it just makes it, you know, really nice to where you don't have to do that. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to set these pieces aside and let them set up a little bit before we go assembling the cabinet itself. And we're going to start working on the heat chamber on the back of the incubator. This is the back plate here. So you'll want, obviously, the groove side up. And what we'll do is we're going to run a bead of glue around this chamber here, or this groove here. And then we have 2 shorter pieces and 2 longer pieces. You can go ahead and stick the shorter pieces in first, or the one at the top first, or one at the bottom. Either way you want to start out, it doesn't really matter. And then these longer pieces will go just like that underneath the top piece. But what I want to do is I'm going to put a little bit of glue right on this edge, and that'll just kind of help hold that together a little bit better at the top. And we'll just slide it right into the groove, press it down real good. Now this piece here, where it joins around the top, that would be a good spot to go ahead and put a little piece of masking tape just to hold it together until that glue sets up. That way you know that everything is, you know, going together nice and tight. Okay, and then the other side, obviously, is the exact same way. Put a little bit of foam glue on the end. And slide it into your slot. And press everything together real well. And I'll do the same on this side with a little piece of masking tape just to kind of hold that together. And then the last piece, you're going to do the same thing. Let me turn that around so you can see it. We'll put a little bit of glue on each one of these and then slide our last small piece in. So let me do that real quick. Okay, and then that piece is ready to be set aside. Now what you don't want to do is on this back piece, this is the back piece that goes over the air chamber, you do not want to glue that in place. You don't even want to attach it yet because you're still going to want to put your fans in here. The fans actually mount on this side of the box, which would be on the inside, but you need to be able to get to the inside of it to, you know, put your washer and your nut on this side. So we're going to leave this piece off until we get our fans mounted, but also when you're all set and you're putting it together, you want to just screw this piece on. Maybe a couple screws at the top, a couple at the bottom, and one on each side. The reason for that is if you attach it permanently and for some reason you have to access your fans, or you want to clean out this heat chamber, because this chamber will draw in dust and down, you know, if you're hatching chicks out in it. So, you know, every other cleaning or so, what I do is I pop the cover off and I'll clean this out real well. So I'm going to go ahead and set this off on the side. And I will grab our door. Now for the door, it's pretty simple. You're going to take your pre-cut acrylic sheet, take the plastic off of it obviously so you can see through it. And then I'm just going to double check the fitment real quick. Yeah, it fits right in there, no problem. So what you can do, if you want, you can take some acrylic silicone and run it around this edge here and put the window in, or you can just put the glass in there and then run a bead around the outside edge. And then just slide your glass in, press it down, and your window is finished. Okay, a couple things we can do right now. We're not going to assemble the box quite yet because I'm still waiting for that glue to set up a little bit more. But what you can do while we have the door out, you can actually take and attach these strips. You're going to have one strip that attaches to each side of the door, on the sides of the door, not on the tops and bottom, but just on the sides. And basically to do that, just run you a bead of glue along the edge. Actually, I'm going to put the glue on the wood. That way I don't have to try to hold that. And then I'll stand the door up and fix the piece of wood to the edge of the door. And just make sure that it's even on both sides. And then we'll do the same on the other side. Now normally what I would do when I'm assembling these parts is I would let that glue cure overnight. It says it's about 24 hours it takes to cure, but for the sake of the video, we're just going to go ahead and do it all at one time. Now there's one other thing that I want to point out, you guys. If you look closely on this foam, there's like a slice in the foam here. And what those are pre-scored marks, so you can snap this foam to fit in like a 16-inch center on a wall stud. What I did on my DIY box, and I don't know if it really made that big of a difference, I took a little bit of the foam glue on my hand and I smeared it and pressed it into that little groove just to kind of glue it together and hold it tight. I've never had one, break on me anywhere, even in spots where I didn't put that. But it's just a thought. If you want to strengthen that foam up a little bit more, you could do that. Let me get some tape on that just to hold that while I put it aside. Okay, so at this point, we've pretty much got everything glued together that we're going to have to glue up. This is where I would probably put all my pieces aside and let them sit overnight to let that glue set up and cure real good. And then I would finish the assembly process in the morning. So we're going to go ahead and take a break for a little bit, and then I'll come back and I will finish assembling up the box. Okay, so now that we've let that glue set up a little bit, we can go ahead and start assembling the cabinet. What I like to do is take these side walls and just stand them on edge and glue them together first. Now you'll notice the bottom of the heat chamber here, there's a slot for it on the opposing wall. You want to make sure that that slot goes up. Like I say, guys, this thing can only go together one way. If you were to try to turn that around and put it the other way, it's not going to fit. So what we're going to do is run a quick bead of glue in this slot. And then we'll stand the wall up this way. You see that? And put it in that slot and press it in real good. Okay, so now that we've got the two side pieces glued together, we can go ahead and attach the top and the bottom pieces. Seeing as how the top piece is closest to the camera, we're going to go ahead and do that first. The top piece is obviously the one that has the receptacle holes cut out in it, and those will go, these receptacle holes go above the heat chamber board. So when you go to assemble it, make sure that these two holes are towards the back side of the cabinet. Go ahead and put a little bit of glue on that. And again, make sure to squeeze them together nice and tight to where you see glue kind of ooze out the sides. And it's probably a good idea to have a roll of paper towel with you so you can clean up any excess glue that wants to come out. And this is also a good spot to go ahead and put some tape on. But actually, I'm going to do the tape after I put the bottom on, because I like to, at this point, this is where I like to stand the box up like that and put the bottom piece on. Now the bottom piece, you don't have to worry about which direction it goes on because it's identical both ways. So what we'll do is we'll run a little bead of glue on the top here and then set our bottom on. Okay, a little bit of glue, and then just set those right in those grooves and press her together. Run you some tape around the edges just to make sure that it kind of holds everything in place. Now, if you keep the tape on the front part here, if you keep it back far enough, you could actually go ahead and put your wood strips on each side. So I'm going to go ahead and move this piece of tape back just a little bit. Just about an inch or so. Reattach that. And now I can go ahead and add my wood strips to the front. These are the 2 remaining wood strips. Okay, so we'll go ahead and put a little bit of adhesive on our wood strips. Now, if you've got some small wood clamps or something, that would work perfect for this spot right here. But again, I'm just going to use some tape. And you know, if you squeeze it down tight enough and you notice it trying to ooze out the sides there, that means you've got a good seal all the way around on the wood. Okay, so there's front. The only other thing that we need to put in now is our face plate for our heat chamber. And that one's going to be the trickiest one for me to show you guys on camera. But I'm going to do it a dry fit first, so you guys can see how it's done. Actually, before we get to that, let's go ahead and install our light sockets. The light sockets go in from the bottom and wires up through the top. And what you want to do, I found that works the best, is keeping your wires facing front to back and keep them the same color, like both of your commons, you know, on the back side, both of your hots on the front. Just makes things a little bit easier. But what I do, let me see if I can lay this down so you can see it. Take the socket, go up through the hole, and we'll run a little bead of glue around this and then press it up in the socket. That'll hold it in place pretty much permanently. So we'll go ahead and take that out. I'll show you how we run a bead of glue around there. And then again, stick it up, stick the wires through the hole, and then just pull it up snug. And same with the other one. Go ahead and pull that out. Next, what we're going to do is install our face plate for the heat chamber. I'm going to do a dry fit first, so you guys can see how it goes. The 45-degree sides will line up with the top of the heat chamber and also the face of this bottom piece of foam here. So it's basically going to be, can you see in there like that? It's basically going to be like that if you can see it. So we're going to run a little bit of adhesive along this edge here. Same along this edge. Now you don't have to, but if you want to put a little bit on each edge, it's not going to hurt anything. And then basically just, you know, you're going to slide it in and line up this bottom edge here with the bottom edge of the floor of the bottom of the heat chamber, that piece down there. And then this piece up here will just press against the top of the incubator itself. Okay, so you can see I've got the plate in there. I also used a little bit of tape to kind of hold that bottom plate up. And I also took a little bit of glue and went around the outside edge, kind of caulked that in just to make sure that those edges are held nice and tight. Okay, so the faceplate is attached. This would be a good time to go ahead and set the whole unit aside and let that glue dry up really well before proceeding on. But for the sake of this video, we're going to go ahead and install the back. And what I do is just put the cabinet face down. The glue should be good and dry on our air chamber. So we can actually go ahead and install the back right now, but it actually makes it a whole lot easier to go ahead and install your fans at this time. The fans that I recommend are the Arctic F8 fans. They're available on Amazon, and I will put a link in this description on this video to where you can find that. But basically what I do when I'm installing the fans is I will take the two fans and wire them together. The reason for that, and I'll show you here in a second, is you've got 4 holes in each fan. And what I do is I'll take these 2 holes that are closest together, I'll run some wire through there and wire the fans together like that. And that way when you go to mount it, you only use these 4 outer holes. So once you've got it wired together, you can go ahead and set your fans on the inside of this cabinet, not on the side with the air chamber, but on the inside. You'll set your fans in there, and using an 1/8" drill, just drill 4 holes to mount these fans. And basically what you do is you'll stick your bolts through this side, and then on the back side, and here is where you'll put your lock washer and nut on each one of them, and then your fans are together. When you go to install this with the fans on, I'm going to move the fans so I don't drop them, but when you go to install this, the fans obviously go up towards the top by the heat plate. Make sure that the wires on your fan come through this opening here. You want to make sure that them wires are hanging out there before you fix the back on permanently. So what I'm going to do is run a bead of glue, and we'll go ahead and attach the box. Now guys, I'm not including the fans with this kit, and the reason is there's multiple fans that you guys can use. Like I say, I recommend the Arctic F8 fan, the 12-volt fan. That's all I've used, and they work really well. But there is also a 12-volt fan, the same size, or not 12-volt, 120-volt fan, the same size, that will fit right in place, and you can use that versus the 12-volt. If you do use the 12 volts, that saves you, or if you do use the 120-volt, that saves you from having to run a 12-volt converter to run the fans off of. And also I want to mention, guys, if you run into any issues as far as rigging the hardware, or not the hardware, but the electronics and stuff up on this, refer to the original build video, and I'll leave a link to that below. That's got everything as far as how to wire up your fans, how to wire up the regulator, and how to program it and all that stuff. But for this, it's just the kit, and I'm hoping that you guys will go back and address your other issues through that video. Okay, and once you got your back glued on, then you can go ahead and fix the back of the heat chamber in place, remembering that this does not get glued. You want to get you some screws and put 4 screws in it, maybe 1 at the top and bottom and 2 on each side, something like that, just to hold it in place. But for the sake of the video, I'm going to put the tape on it because I love using masking tape. Okay, now if you didn't install these wood strips earlier, when you put your Turner rails in the side pieces, you can go ahead and glue them in place now. Just put a little bit of glue on the bottom of each one and mount them in there. what these do is they protect that foam when you slide your turner trays in and out, or your hatching baskets in and out. It just protects that foam and keeps it from getting tore up and whatnot. Okay, so those are installed. The last thing to do is to mount your door. You're going to take your door, and depending on what side you want it to open from, take the door and put your hinges on this side and your latching hardware on the other side. It's up to you, whichever one you want to do. And actually, I've got this door backwards. It goes like this. Remember, the text goes to the outside. And attach your hinges and your latching hardware, and you're good to go. So this cabinet, for the most part, is done. It's ready to have the electronics installed, wired up. I'm obviously not going to do that in this video. You guys can refer to the other video for that. This is actually a friend of mine's cabinet, so I'm going to let him finish it up as far as putting the door on, mounting the fans, and that kind of stuff. So guys, if you have any questions at all about assembling this box, please reach out to me. You can either get me by email, terry@koternikscorner.com, or if you're on Facebook, you can message me over there. I will do whatever I can to help you guys through the assembly process. I'll do whatever I can to help you get all your settings tweaked so the incubator works well for the area that you're in, and get everything dialed in. If you have an issue with the wiring, let me know. Have an issue with the regulator, getting it set up and programmed, let me know and I'll help you out there. So guys, I hope this video helped you as far as the assembly process goes for this box. I actually believe that without any video at all, you guys could figure out how to put this box together, because it's really not that hard. Like I say, it'll only go together one way, with the exception of the top. You got to make sure that the top is oriented correctly so the heat source is towards the back. So thanks for joining me, guys. Again, if you have any questions, feel free to reach out. And good luck with your cabinet incubator. Appreciate it.